Good morning, Tech fam. It's Friday, September 5th, and you're listening to Flat Tech Daily, the podcast that makes your morning smarter in 10 minutes or less. I'm Nick.
And I'm Michelle.
For our first topic, BMW's brand new iX3 kicks off the new class with a big range and a bigger brain.
For our second topic, Apple's iPhone 17 event is days away, and here's what to expect. Hello, iPhone Air.
For our third topic, Philips Hue drops his biggest refresh ever. Cheaper bulbs, a Pro bridge, and brighter strips.
For our fourth topic, Lenovo's Legion Go 2 lands a premium handheld PC with an OLED upgrade and a premium price.
For our fifth topic, Adobe Premiere is coming to iPhone, bringing Pro Tools to your pocket.
Let's roll. For our first topic, BMW just unveiled the iX3, the first car on its next-gen Neue Klasse platform.
Translation is BMW's reboot for the EV era. New batteries, new software, new computers. The works.
An 800-volt electrical system and up to 400 kilowatts fast charging. That's the pit stop and bounced here. BMW says roughly 230 miles in 10 minutes under ideal conditions.
First to use BMW's in-house Gen 6 cylindrical cells, up to 30% more range, 30% faster charging, 20% more energy density, and 50% cheaper to build. BMW hints at 400 miles plus miles EPA on the right trim.
The debut model is the iX3 50X drive, all-wheel drive, about 463 horsepower. The US timing release is about mid-2026 and is starting around $60K.
The brain upgrade is the fun part. BMW's so-called Heart of Joy computer consolidates traction, stability, and motor control that used to live on a dozen little chips. Cars should feel more responsive.
Inside, there's a panoramic iDrive running an Android-based OS X plus physical knobs and buttons for the essentials. Digital keys work with Apple, Samsung, Google, and OTA. Over-the-air updates push new features over time.
BMW is fighting with Tesla and fast-moving Chinese EV makers who already think like software companies. New class is BMW saying we're a software company now too. So Michelle, what's the takeaway for all our BMW drivers?
The iX3 isn't a battery on wheels. It's BMW consolidating the car's nervous system so the driving feels more BMW than ever.
For our second topic, Apple's all-dropping event is September 9th. iPhone 17 is the start, but supporting cast looks spicy.
iPhone 17 and iPhone 17 Pro Max may switch to a camera bar with three 48-megapixel sensors, a 24-megapixel selfie, and a new A19 Pro chip with up to 12 gigabytes of RAM. Bigger battery on Pro Max is also on the table.
An ultra-thin iPhone 17 Air, think around 5.5 millimeters, 6.6-inch ProMotion display, single 48-megapixel rear camera, Apple's first in-house modem, reportedly without millimeter wave, and likely eSIM only.
Base iPhone 17 could finally get 120 Hz ProMotion and a slightly larger 6.3-inch screen with a standard A19 chip. The Plus might bow out, replaced by the Air.
And beyond the phones, Apple Watch Ultra 3 rumors point to a bigger display, satellite texting for off-grid messaging. Series 11 gets 5G, red cap efficiency, while S3 tweaks design without going plastic.
AirPods Pro 3 could add heart rate sensing, live translation, a new H3 chip, and a smaller case. Accessories may shift to a tech woven after fine wovens flop.
And keep one eye on Apple Intelligence updates, plus a whisper of a beefier Vision Pro 2 and an M5 iPad Pro later this year. So Michelle, what's the takeaway for all my people over at Cupertino?
Apple's pitch this year sounds like thin meets strong, lighter hardware and heavier features. For our third topic, Philips Hue just pulled a Costco sample tray on a smart lighting. There's a lot to try.
The headliner is the Hue Bridge Pro. New look, faster processor, more capacity, think whole home scale, and Wi-Fi built in so the bridge doesn't have to hug your router.
Then there's the Hue Essentials line. Entry-level bulbs starting at $25, cheaper in multi-packs actually. Big thing here is Matter over Thread support on the bulbs. Connect directly to Apple Home, Alexa, or any Matter platform if you got the right bulbs.
Flagship bulbs got upgrades too, 40% more energy efficient and dimmed down to just 0.2% for that movie theater at home vibe.
Light strips, a glow up. The top tier Omni Glow packs dense LEDs for no dot fusion and serious brightness, while new flux strips hit lower prices. Outdoor options and permanent roofline lights joined the party.
Hue has been the premium smart light brand while cheap rivals raced up from below. This refresh stretches Hue down market without ditching the ecosystem power. So Michelle, what's the takeaway for all my people trying to get sexy with that 0.2 brightness?
Hue's making the best lights easier to buy and the smart home easier to build.
For our fourth topic, Lenovo's Legion Go 2 is official. If a Nintendo Switch and a gaming laptop had a kid who only drinks espresso, this is it.
The new model starts at $1099, pricier than the last gen, but you get an 8.8-inch OLED with true 30 to 144 Hz VRR. Better ergonomics, Hall effect sticks, a proper pivot D-pad, and that quirky mouse mode dock on the right controller.
And under the hood, AMD Ryzen Z2 or Z2 Extreme, up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte standard, and a 74 watt-hour battery, roughly 50% bigger than before.
It's heavier and thicker, but the goal is smooth frames and longer sessions. VRR down to 30 Hz helps those borderline titles feel less borderline.
The handheld PC arms races on Asus Ally line, MSI Claws, Lenovo's own SteamOS variant, and prices keep climbing. Lenovo's bet the best Windows handheld experience is worth 4 digits. So Michelle, what's the takeaway for all our gaming tech fam?
The Legion Go 2 is a portable rig for power users. If you can carry it and afford it, it'll carry your games. For our fifth and final topic, Adobe Premiere is launching on iPhone later this month, and the pre-order is live now.
Think multi-track timeline, 4K HDR, automatic captions, unlimited layers, the familiar Premiere feel, refit for thumbs.
Audio gets love too. Enhanced speech for crisp VO and generative sound effects to create cues that match your timing and tone.
Plus, built-in Firefly to generate visuals or audio, access to Adobe stock assets and fonts, and one-tap exports to TikTok, Shorts, Instagram, and auto-frame per platform.
The kicker is workflow. Start on phone, finish on desktop in Premiere Pro. No watermarks is assigned to be the tool you actually use when the idea hits.
Mobile editors like CapCut and LumaFusion set the bar. Adobe's move brings the industry standard to the device you always have. So Michelle, what's the takeaway for all our movie editors?
Premiere on iPhone turns "I'll edit later" into "I'll post now." So Nick, what are the takeaway for our beautiful listeners?
For our first topic, BMW's iX3 fuses battery muscle with a centralized brain. A software first BMW that still drives like a BMW.
For our second topic, iPhone 17 looks like thin meets strong, pro cameras and chips, plus a featherweight iPhone Air rumor to shake up the lineup.
For our third topic, Philips Hue is pushing pro-scale brains and budget-friendly bulbs. One ecosystem, more on-ramps.
For our fourth topic, Legion Go 2 says OLED plus VRR plus big battery equals premium price for premium portable play.
For our fifth and final topic, Adobe Premiere on iPhone makes pro editing pocketable. Capture, cut, and ship without leaving your camera roll.
And that's a wrap for Fly Tech Daily, the 5 stories you'll be talking about at lunch.
If we made your morning just a little bit smarter, do us a solid. Tap 5 stars wherever you're listening. It helps more tech fans find the show.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Nick. Until next time,
Peace.
Peace.